Welcome to episode 5 of the Full Program Golf Podcast. This is part 2 of the South Africa special. Need I say more? Let's get into it.
So, after opening dinner, if you will, we left that hotel because we were heading to Mecca. I mean, what way do you want to describe it? South African Mecca, maybe.
Yeah, so pre-tour is now over. We are into the trip.
You practiced. You're in. Those 4 boys
Yeah.
got a bit of South African underneath there.
We are in, yeah. And as you say, yeah, we are going to what is one of the great venues in golf.
Yeah,
Fancourt.
It is
Absolutely loved it.
It is one of the greatest places on earth. There's no other way to describe it. Like, it just has everything there. 3 courses, hotel, restaurants. It is an all-time setup as far as I'm
Pools,
concerned.
indoor or outdoor, saunas, spas. Yeah, just everything. It honestly, you drive through the gates and it's like that.
Yeah, that is no. Do you know what? That is the best way to describe it. Everything's suddenly walking distance. It's golf carts only, and you just know you've got. So we've done now twice, 3 nights, 3 rounds, which I think is all you need. Like, you know, you get everything you need from 3 nights, 3 rounds.
If you can make it longer, do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's probably right. Actually, that's probably the shortest you want to do. And so we were on site. We had the kind of the beauty and the benefit of playing all 3 courses ahead of us, and so yeah, that was into Saturday, which was round 1 officially of tour, which was round 1 of Mamawela. So Mamawela is going to be however much we'll put in each, decent pot size, 12 guys, and it was going to be competed for and won at Fancourt. So over 3 rounds, straight Stapleford. That was it. And day 1, we were at...
Oh, the links.
Oh, the links.
Yeah, I mean, it was an early start, wasn't it? And as I'm sure we all know, first day, everyone's together, everybody got a little bit silly.
On the Friday night.
And there were some sore heads.
Yeah.
And sore bodies, sore minds, sore everything.
So we're teeing off 9 o'clock on Saturday, and the links has fantastic practice facilities. And so the earliest they'll get you from the hotel is they'll get you at 8 o'clock to bring you over to the links, which is about a 5-minute buggy ride away. And you want to get picked up at 8 because you want every minute before your tee time over in that property, because you can't go over there unless you've got a tee time. So that's something to be said. There are 6 hotel guest tee times on the links each day. So it's very, very short number of tee times available. And so if you are lucky enough to get one, you want to go and enjoy that facility, that property, that course as much as possible. And so, yeah, we had to drag ourselves up quite early in the morning to make sure that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Had to milk it for all it's worth. Different practice facilities to everywhere else. As you say, different putting green, different clubhouse, different merch. Just spectacular.
Yeah. It's and you get there. So at Fancourt, I mean, you can play in a cart if you want, but we have always had caddies. They cost you about £17 a day to have a caddy at Fancourt. Like, it's just nothing in the grand scheme of things. And that's what they do, professional caddies. And you get there, they've got the bib on, they've got your name in the bib. And so you're already off to a kind of a bit of a special start, I'd say, when you got a caddy like that.
Yeah, it's great. You mentioned professional caddies. I'm sure some would refute that. Certainly I would have the year before.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lucky dip.
You get some who actually have been professional caddies.
There was is it names on lockers as well?
Names on lockers,
which is always nice.
It just makes a real difference, doesn't it? You get there, name on your locker, you've got that for the day. You can go and waltz out. You don't see your clubs again. Your caddy's set. He's got it. He's ready for you. And we mooched upstairs. We'd already had breakfast in the hotel to get ourselves together, and we got into that pro shop, which what you'll see, and if you see anyone who's bought Fancourt merch and it says Fancourt underneath it, that is not bought from the Lynx shop.
Yeah, so it's like a coat of arms, isn't it? And that is what Fancourt is. And then underneath, the standard pro shop at Fancourt says Fancourt underneath. But then
the Lynx, you get the Lynx under it.
And so it's a saying I absolutely hate, but it's a if you know, you know kind of thing.
Yeah. Other than the fact it says the Lynx.
But there's a million links. It could be links anywhere, but you see the Fancourt coat of arms, and then you see the links after it, and you're like, okay, you can only go to that pro shop if you've got a tee time. So, you are one of very, very few who's had the opportunity to buy that, essentially. Pro shop is good, and so I love all that, like that kind of story. That gets me excited. Like, obviously, I want to buy my merch more from the Lynx pro shop than I want the other one.
And it's Peter Millar, Lindbergh, Galvin Green. It's all that stuff.
But what I will say is because there's only 6 guest tee times every day, they obviously just don't get that much traffic. And so, their need to, stash this pro shop up to the eyeballs, I just don't think's there. There's also a members-only logo, which is similar, but it basically has different colouring in it, which is beautiful. It's absolutely sensational. God, did I beg the guy to sell me a head cover, and obviously he didn't. And so, look, I think everyone bought something. And I would expect if you went to, I'd definitely, save your budget for the Lynx. But beyond, Peter Millar polos, it wasn't everything from kind of bull market to tea towels like you see in some massive pro shops.
That's very true. That's true. Certainly a quarter, if not a third of the shop was members only.
Yeah, fact.
So instantly you are reduced. Then I personally don't wear ladies' clothing, so that actually reduces what I can then buy by probably another quarter to half. So suddenly you're looking at a third of the shop.
Yeah, and I would say really on the 3Ps, it's really the only thing I could possibly kind of pick at, because the practice facilities are nails. They're as good as they get. You're on a grass range, full length grass range. You've got quite a big kind of chipping, bunkering complex next to it, and then you've got not the most undulating putting green, but a really large putting green. And so I think really practice facilities are tick. Couldn't do much better.
But the thing about the putting green is there's a great little dog leg in it that just lends itself to some great putting comps. I know we've mentioned it before. It really is brilliant with that.
So you're over to the Lynx. It's a special spot. And you head on out. You get a little shot of whiskey on the first tee out of some crystal. They also hand you a Lynx water bottle, which we've now got 2 of, which is nice.
Yeah, always need more.
And then off you go into the course.
Which it's fair to say, certainly the first is a soft start. Yeah. They're easing you in, aren't they? It's no more than a 5-iron wedge. If you hit 5-iron on the club face and wedge normally, which the reason I mention that is I'd personally been a little bit silly the night before. I'd had a couple too many to drink, and I had quite bad shakes on that first tee, it's fair to say. And I've hit this scabby, semi-fat push 5-iron gone.
Yeah, I could really do you here as the person who has all of this content just saved away on his phone at this point. I think the videos we've been pushing out on social so far, it's making you look like a pretty good player. You do the down the line series. You got 18 tee shots, and for the most part, a couple of grunts on them where you think, okay, I don't know where that's gone. But for the most part, Josh ball striker. However, we could clip this a little bit, and I could just send out that first tee shot, which wasn't your finest, was it?
I was in a hole. I was in an awful place. I was shaking. I was trembling. Yeah, I was berating past Josh whilst I was walking to that tee. And actually it impacted... Thankfully, we've managed to play the Lynx a couple of times, so can fully appreciate how good that is. But it certainly impacted my first few holes until I was able to kind of string something together. I mean, it wasn't a good day, but enough about me. What a great golf course.
What a great golf course. And so a couple of things on the course. Number one, I would say it is just like a top level all-rounder in the sense that you have beautiful par threes, which I think I've said. I'm a big par three guy. There's good variability to them, but all really strong par threes. I think it's got some kind of more risk-rewardy par fours, then it's got some just like beast par fours, and then it's got par fives, which are gettable but challenging and different. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, you know, it's such a complete 18 holes is probably the best way to describe it.
You play well, you score well. You play bad, you are punished.
Yeah. And, you know, it doesn't have that much traffic, and so it's in really good condition. What I would say, you know, we are, for the most part, all kind of single-figure handicappers, good golfers, you know, hit it a long enough distance to kind of, you know, be able to play those kind of courses. If you don't hit it too far, or if you are in the double digits, I would strongly advise just, you know, swallowing your ego and just going up the tees, because it's a great golf course and you really would enjoy it. But if you, it is tough, like it is hard.
But to your point, you know, a great point. It's a very playable course playing from the right tees.
Yeah,
you can enjoy it. I think it's spectacular. And what we failed to mention is that it's hosted the President's Cup.
Yeah, which is, do you know what? I want to watch like a long format highlight of that tournament, because I really know the golf course. Well, I played it twice, but you know, I feel like I've experienced it. And other than a couple of minute clips on YouTube, I just can't find something. So if it's out there, love someone to send me the link to like the, you know, HBO hour kind of special or whatever.
It was a special President's Cup as well. Ernie Els Tiger Woods playoff for the win. And they had to go 4-5 holes. It got too dark. And that was Nicholas and player
called it.
Call it a half, shake hands.
And so we talked about memorabilia in Southport. The Links has got some really cool President's Cup stuff kind of dotted around. So that's, beautiful to kind of look at. So yeah, anyway, the course, I think it's a top tierer for me. What about you?
Yes, so it's ranked number 2 in Africa, which I think, speaking to a few people who have played number 1, which is deemed to be Durban Country Club, that's just not true. The Links is number 1 by all accounts. Gary Player design for those architect enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite nice, given he was then the captain for the President's Cup. For me, as you say, lots of great holes. You play well, you can score well, you play badly, and it will continue to punish you. I think my favourite hole personally is probably the 15th, the par 4 dogleg left, that has almost an island green with water wrapped all the way around it, that you can, again, really bite off the corner with driver on, or you can play sort of 4-iron out and have further in. Managed to play it well this time, didn't play it so well last time, but I think that's the best hole for me. Best hole for you?
Off the top of my head, 17, the par 3.
Okay, great golf hole.
Great golf hole.
I, however, controversially think it was a better hole from the backs. I know we've just said move forward, and please do move forward if you can't. But we played it off the backs the year before.
It was like a 196 the year before, I think.
Yeah, so it's a proper shot into what is a bit of a slither of a green, water short and left, big run off right.
Yeah.
Whereas this year it was only 130, 140, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
So it's a completely different golf hole. But it's fantastic. And then the patio sitting out, looking over that 18th green.
So I was trying to think about this patio, like, and I was kind of having a think in the car. I was just like, where do I rank that patio? On one hand, you sit there and you're looking at the 18th green, which is a cool green complex. You're seeing all the people come in, and it's very much on the edge of the course. And so, like, the kind of, you know, majestic beast that you've just played is like out there, and you're almost sitting there looking back at her, kind of on the horizon. But is it just quite a straightforward patio? I don't know. Like, as in, when you think about it, like, it was amazing. Like, you come off this amazing golf course, you sit there, it was first round of the trip, it's in the sun, you have the beers, you kind of, you know, chopping it up. And so from that standpoint, I'm like, does it get any better than that?
So I've got a couple of points to raise.
Yeah.
Both good and bad. And it does get better than that. Not necessarily in South Africa.
So that's my thinking.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I think it's a great patio. You're very close to the 18th green, and there's a lovely trimmed runoff area.
Yeah.
You can run that ball right up to your feet if someone goes long. Par 5, double tier green, big. If you want to gamble on if people's going to 2-putt or 3-putt, you can.
Do you remember I went long and I always felt like I was chipping with the guys, who finished ahead of me to come back onto that green.
Which is great. However, I like a patio that I can see 18 on, but I can also go for a putt nice and easily from, whilst also looking at 18. Now that's a nice piece.
That is the grail.
And then on top of that, because of how quiet it is, it's not somewhere you can sit, bed in, and really just, as I say, bed in and settle in at, because it's going to be frowned upon. And for that reason, I don't have it as a top patio.
No, and I was trying to disconnect kind of how good a time I had, I suppose, with actually like, what is it? Like, where does this patio rank? But yeah, look, I mean, to kind of conclude it all through, like I've got the links as a 9 because
I've got it as a 9 as well.
What does it lose on? I suppose I don't think any course is perfect, and so it's very highly ranked. So I suppose if you split it off, it'd be like a 4-5 course, and then I give it a 4-5 on the 3Ps. Pro shop could be bigger. Patio is great, but like probably isn't the greatest, and that's just like, it's no knock on it, but that gets a 9, which is yeah, it's a great place.
I can completely accept that. I mean, for anyone who is normal and sane, the links is better than Pazula. And for those that are listening are probably thinking, well, you've rated it slightly higher or the same as Pazula. That's because I'm trying to do something for everyone.
Yeah.
When I said Pazula's the best in South Africa, the other one would be the links that I've played. But for me, it has to still be Pazula.
Yeah. So that rounded out day 1. Really good start to the trip. Saturday, so we ate in one of the restaurants at Fancourt.
Lovely.
Yeah, really, really nice. Can't remember.
The French one.
Was it the French one? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, you don't need to leave Fancourt. Like, you can, if you do 3 nights, 3 rounds, there are 3 different places you can eat each night. They are different enough. And yeah, why take the headache of going a taxi into George? Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Day 2, we were on to Outeniqua.
We were indeed, yes. Probably seen as the third course.
Yes, definitely from a ranking standpoint. And so, just so everyone kind of understands the kind of layout of it. So you have to travel kind of 5-minute by buggy to the links. You can only go to the links if you've got a tee time. You have to be in the hotel to get one of the 6 tee times. And the links is actually a separate membership from Fancourt itself. So if you're a Fancourt member, you have membership to Outeniqua and Montague, which are their 2 courses there. So yeah, we were on Outeniqua on the Sunday, which was my birthday. And so we've got all of our polos on, and we've got a very funny picture with kind of the 12 of us all in our polos, caddies down all in front of us on the first tee. And yeah, hit off for round 2.
And I actually think that the Outeniqua first tee is one of the better first tees. It's right out the front of one of the restaurants and the bars, so people are sitting and watching. And it was a spot we found ourselves at a good few times, just sitting, having a bit of food or having a couple of beers, whatever it might be, out watching that first tee shot, which is a shortish par 4, slight dogleg left, with water from probably 180 to 230, and you can either carry it, go short, or play to the fairway to the right, but obviously you're bringing things into play there. So just going to, seems like I'm the rankings man.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying being that person as well.
Rank away.
Just to tick that off, Outeniqua is number 38 in Africa, also a Gary Player design. The reason I mentioned that is I then went and looked to see if Montague was a Gary Player design, as I was looking into these. I assumed so.
Yeah.
That's not the case, and we'll get on to that. But that was why I'm mentioning the Gary Player piece here. I have it as a 6.5. And the reason I have it as a 6.5 is because I think it's harsh. I'm being harsh. It's 6.5, 7.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah, exactly. You'll never make it. The practice facilities at Fancourt are
So
very good.
Yeah, the Montague Oceaniqua course from a practice facility, patio, and pro shop standpoint,
exactly the same.
Yeah,
exactly the same. The pro shop is really good, very big. Obviously, it says Fancourt, not the links underneath your merch.
Mm-hmm.
So think of that. Make of that what you will. There is a really good range. Well, a decent range.
So it's not full length. Neither us two.
Just to say that.
Neither of us could hit driver.
Woof. Yeah, so a decent range and a good short game area. But for me, not a very good putting green. And the putting green is actually round in front of the patio near Montague.
Well, it's got two, isn't it? It's got the very small one, and then it has got the bigger one out by the range, but that's not great.
And you can chip on it.
Yeah, it's not great. But and it's an astro matted range, which said it's not full length. I think it's like 240. So couldn't go through the whole bag. Pro shop's good. Didn't buy anything from that pro shop, which that for me is saying something.
I don't think I did actually. I've got the link stuff.
If it's a top tier pro shop, I do not make it out of there without the card coming out.
Yeah.
That's just like that's just like black and white. That's a fact as far as I'm concerned. It's a good pro shop, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I just didn't buy anything. And yeah, so like bizarrely enough, the year before I came away and I thought I preferred Oceaniqua to Montague, and so like it's got a really good finish. So that it's like 15 up the hill, then it's 16, and then it's 17 par 5 down to the water, and then it's 18 to finish in front of the clubhouse. Like tidy little finish.
That par 3 15 is really lovely. Down the hill with the water behind it. You're thinking of 14 up the hill, 15 down.
Oh yes, 15 par. Yeah, that's
that 15 a par 3 is up there in probably one of the top 18 holes on the property.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic par 3.
Class.
As we say, almost like the horseshoe of water behind it, which is great. It has some fantastic holes. It's just certainly a resort golf course.
Yeah, and it was sand. The greens were sanded this year, and so it was just like that. That does just like really take an edge off any place, really. Unfortunately,
I also think 5's a really good hole, which is that shortish dogleg right par 4 with the water all down the right, bunkers up the left that you can take on more.
Yes.
That's a really good golf hole with a massively front to back green that just gets away from you.
Do you know what? Fun fact: I birdied that both times I played it.
Lovely.
There you go. What did I have Oceaniqua at? I think I had it as a 7.5, 8. I don't know. I've written all these things down. I'm looking at it and I can't find it on my list.
No, but that sounds about right, Amanda.
Yeah, like it was. So if links was a 9, I basically think now, jumping ahead a little bit, but there are 3 courses and they slowly just move down kind of in 0.5-ish increments. And so if links is a 9, Oceaniqua is probably like somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8 for me. Like,
fair.
And probably like just calibrating against you, it's probably a 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair spot. I really enjoy it, and actually, I had it as the second course. We'll get on to why last time. It's obviously not.
No, it's the third. It is the third.
But
and Oceaniqua is the mountain range that it kind of sits in the shadow of. That's what the name comes from.
Lovely.
There you go.
That's
you hitting them with all course design. I'm hitting them with a bit of geology, my boy.
Geography.
Whatever.
Nice. Well,
geology's rocks and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but surely it'd be geography if it's mountains and things like that. For me, I learned about the Andes and the Alps in geography.
We'll stick to golf.
Yeah.
So Oceaniqua was on the Sunday. Good fun. The competition was coming along nicely. So basically we had kind of groups drawn for the first 2 days, but then for the final round on Montague, where the winner was going to get announced, we went off in reverse order. And so really, for me personally, like I was just trying to work towards, golf game's in good shape. I've been in South Africa. I've been playing a lot. I just wanted to make sure I was in the last group, which I was. And I think I was 2 back of the cousin Greg, who really, bless his heart, wanted to win it so badly. You could really, like, more than anyone, he had a 2-shot lead going into the final round, and it would have meant a lot to him. And I was looking forward to trying to get in his head all day and chase him down. So I was happy to be there.
Jean van der Velde.
Yeah.
He couldn't close a door. Love you, Greg. Love you. But you couldn't. I don't feel like any of us thought he'd win. Bless him. So it really was down to the other 3 in that group to see who could hold it together. And now, so the Montague, let's get the rankings in.
Yeah.
Why not? Number 19 in Africa.
Yep.
I assumed it was going to be a Gary Player design golf course. It is not.
No.
It is a David, I can't even read my right now, McClary Kidd design. Okay. Also designed Bandon Dunes. So he's got a little bit of, he's done a couple of good places, right?
A bit of pedigree.
Yeah, a bit of pedigree, done some good places. And as I said, I had on Utaniqua ahead of it the last time we played it because I had a hand injury, and I actually had painkillers on Utaniqua and no painkillers on Montague. And
the year before,
we've heard I've thrown the dolls out the pram in Bulgaria. I probably, safe to say, threw the dolls out the pram again on the Montague because my hand was hurting, and I don't know how pathetic that sounds, but it was true. Whereas this time around, was actually able to play pretty nicely around Montague. Again, one of the holy trinity that you need. The weather was good too.
Yeah.
And then it was a good golf course. It was a good golf because I had a really good group as well. So again, we're talking about strong par 3s on these courses.
It's just, I think comparatively to Utaniqua, it is just a stronger golf course. Yeah. It's longer, it's bigger, it's badder.
Yeah, and it's held sort of Sunshine Tour events. It's a proper test. And as I mentioned, you've got some really great par 3s. That 17 is a great golf hole.
Yeah.
With Fancourt in the flower bed behind it.
Yeah, it's almost like an Augusta 12, 13? God,
12.
12, yeah.
Wow, come on, Steve.
Yeah, sorry.
And then 18, obviously, the par 5, I know we've just jumped right to the end, but the par 5 over water to finish with the big patio that the whole clubhouse looks at. That is great.
Yeah, so it's all right. I've got a little story for the 18th. So I'm teeing off, final group, 2 back from the lead, big pot, trophy, all the bragging rights. It was competitive. I'm 2 back. I double bogey the par 3 second that Greg, I think, birdied.
It's a bad double bogey as well.
Yeah,
like a 9-iron.
Bad double bogey. And I'm suddenly 5 back with 16 holes to go. And I'm like, ooh, ouch. I just want to be in it.
But he's coming backwards.
Yeah, I just want to be in it because when I get under the gun, I actually quite like it. I love that competitive juice flowing. And I actually think I play better normally when I'm in that kind of zone. And so anyway, I'm 5 back. I'm like, ooh, ouch. And then I turned out I played the rest of the front 9 really quite well. And I all of a sudden found myself a couple ahead at the turn. And we were and the turn in South Africa, if you've never played golf there, is a sit-down meal.
Yep.
You're down, you're having a beer, you're having a plate of food.
You're having a beer?
I didn't have a beer that day.
There were some rumblings around the group. Steve's the only one not drinking. Of course he's winning.
I didn't want that halfway hut. Because I was rolling, and I think I was two ahead at the turn at this point. Big turnaround, and I was playing well. I didn't want to sit down. Came out the halfway hut, no beer had, and I think I went par 10, 11, and the boys just had a bit of a hack down there. And so all of a sudden, I'm 4 or 5 ahead with 7 to go. 4 or 5 ahead with 7 to go, being an amateur golfer, is actually just not the greatest spot in the world. If anything, at this point, I'm now nervous because it will be a blow up if I don't do it. So really, from kind of hole 7 onwards, I am in full program focus mode, trying to get this job done. And so we're kind of grinding around. It's getting a bit kind of through kind of 15, 16. We get to 17, big par 3 over the water.
16, that short par 4, which is Yeah, it's a really short par 4, bit of a nothing hole. 15's a tough par 4 with the approach that raises up to the raised green with that bunker short and left.
Yeah.
Two good par 4s in their own right.
Which I think I went bogey. And so, I'm just like, but you know what I mean? I'm getting the points. They're just like, I'm still getting the points here.
Yeah.
And I've got a bit of cash in the bank, if you will. So you get to the 17, which is the big over water par 3. And I'm like, just be dry. Get it over there, dry, bang. So then I'm rolling over to 18th tee. And I think I've done it. Because I'm thinking the closest to me is going to be in my group, surely. And I think George needed to birdie the 18th and I was to get no points, and that was the only way he was going to catch me for a playoff. And so I was like, I've done it. I rope hook a 5-iron off that par 5 tee.
That's such a bottleless choice.
Really, really bottleless. And they were very, very, very wide. There is houses which is out of bounds, and I'm generally thinking I've roped this so badly that I could be out of bounds.
But in your defence, it's a lot wider on the left than it is on the right. If you hit that same shot right, it is
struggling.
Out.
Yeah. So anyway, so we step off this tee box. I think I might be out of bounds, but I'm still thinking I'm probably like, George is just not going to birdie this. Like, it's going to be good. I've done it. We then get a text message from the two groups ahead, and Mike Mesa has gone out and shot 44 points. Was it?
It was lights out. Yeah.
As in, he off like 10 shots has shot virtually level par around Montague, and I'm told he's level with me, and I'm like, holy and so I'm like, right, I need to get this ball in the hole, bogey or better. And so go out, find my ball. I'm just like in the trees at the left. I'm not out of bounds, but it was a good go at it, and I kind of chunk it back out. I say chunk it. I hit a good shot down the fairway, and I've got like 83 yards left. Right, third shot. And as Josh described, it's an island green right in front of the clubhouse. It was an evening round. The sun was setting. All the boys were gathered around the back of the green. And I just knew I just needed to hit this green. And so we got the caddies. I've had the same caddy for 2 years now. Brandon, shout out Brandon. And we'd been becoming increasingly better as a pair through the week. And so we just really went to work on this yardage and like what we were going to hit, and we just decided like just grab a 60, aim for the middle of the green, and just hit it hard. Like don't get cute with this. And I just struck this 60, and just when it's just like crisp contact with the wedge, and I just looked at it and I knew it was enough club comfortably, and I was just like, get in. Big fist pump, and it's like 10 feet. Big fist pump in the fairway. And they always say it's the greatest walk in golf, walking up 18, and you got it in the bag.
Dude, you got 4 putts for it.
Oh, mate, it was sweet. I have to tell you.
Yes, very jealous that you've got your name on Mama Willa.
Yeah. I'm good now. I'm good.
Yeah, a great victory.
Yeah,
a well-deserved victory as well. We obviously lots of admin. Created a great trip. Your birthday. We'd had some fantastic singing from the from the staff at Fancourt. They'd made a really special effort to, on the Saturday night, we were eating in the Italian restaurant.
Yep.
And they came in doing a traditional African song, dance for your birthday, which we all got into and we all enjoyed, and I thought it was fantastic. And then equally on the morning after, on your birthday, the Saturday morning as well, we also had that at breakfast that the rest of the guests, I'm sure, also really enjoyed.
Just getting sung to constantly through that Sunday.
So we've got to call that out. The staff there were fantastic. But Montague, that's a great win. It's a great win.
Yeah.
But getting into the course, there's some really strong par 3s. There's a couple of really reachable par 5s, but that have trouble. Like I'm thinking of the fourth, the par 5, the par 5 down into the lake. And when you get onto that green on the 4th, you can see the links. So you're almost next to the second green on the links, which is a great golf hole.
Great hole.
And you look to the left and you can see up to the right on the Montague, and you can see the owner of Fancourt's lovely, lovely pad. It's one of those courses that you genuinely should go and play, whether it was Fancourt or not. Utaniqua is without doubt benefits from being on the Fancourt property.
Fact.
But you'd still obviously go and play that.
Where have you got it?
I've got it as an 8.
Yeah, I've got it as an 8.5. So I think, looking at our ranking, and you've been a slightly harsh critic, I think that's about right. Like, it's an 8.5. Like, Fancourt is just factually a fantastic property. It is the better course of the two. I said this time round, played well. Obviously, it was a great finish for me. Moment, I played nicely, 36 points, and it's a good golf course. I wouldn't say it's a great golf course. It's a resorty feeling golf course. So it's not that kind of stunning bit of land like the Links is, for example, but all round, I would just say like a really, really top end, solid course and 3Ps.
Yeah, I agree. And to kind of round out Fancourt then, what a fantastic place. You walk through, you get that feeling, everything on site. I thought the rooms were beautiful, really, really lovely. The ability to obviously play, stay, eat, all in one place is something that you don't actually get as often as you'd imagine in golf. And it was something that I certainly really enjoyed, just to be able to just kind of lay back and chill out. Yeah,
and I mean, to put a kind of ballpark number on it, I mean, 3 nights, 3 rounds, if you're playing all 3 and you're staying in like one of the nice, not even the nicer rooms, just like a good room, like you're in the kind of £1,000 kind of area, £900,000. If you don't play the Links, it knocks a decent whack off it. But yeah, I think that's just to give you an idea. Really I think value for money. Like playing 3 top quality golf courses. Everything's looked after, everything's taken care of. Restaurants are great, facilities great. It's one of my absolute favourite places to go.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to also drop in, good sports bar, football's on, golf's on, whatever sport. We seem to go there when the Carabao Cup semi-finals are on. Don't know why that just sticks with me that we've watched that. A really great experience. And I think certainly a lot of the boys starting out their South African experience
loved it.
Absolutely loved it.
So that was it. Mama Whaler was done. Fancourt was done. So we've done pre-tour. We've now done George, essentially. And so for this trip, we were then into the bus and back over to Cape Town to kind of finish off. So this was now Tuesday, heading back there. Pure travel day, getting back to the Western Cape.
Yeah, we got back over to staying in Camps Bay. Again, we had a beautiful...
as in, I feel like I wasn't staying with the boys because I had my own flat, but Camps Bay is the place to stay.
Yes.
If you've got the cash, and it's kind of big villa vibes. And so if you're a bigger group, definitely Camps Bay. And there's lots of good options from kind of big properties, and you guys just landed in an absolute mint one.
Yeah, we had 8 rooms, 7 of them en suite. We had 2 pools, a hot tub, a cinema room, a sports room.
Camps Bay is on a bit of a pitch, so you're probably it almost feels like a 45-degree slope down to the beach. And so as a result, the vast majority of these big villas just have the most epic views and kind of almost like maybe not an infinity pool, but like infinity style pools where you can just sit in the pool looking out at this just gorgeous coastline. It's it's top draw.
Yeah, it was magnificent. And it's, you're a little bit further out for the golf, but certainly for the restaurants and just the feeling of it, I don't think it can be beaten. And certainly would recommend Camps Bay, whether that be an Airbnb, whether that's a few hotels that we know are lovely down there as well.
I think it's really like you're tossing up between Camps Bay, which I said, maybe to access your golf not as quick. If you stay kind of higher up the mountain, you can get back over the other side quite quickly. If you're not going to be there, then V&A Waterfront is also a good spot. There's different places to be, but I think if you're on holiday, you probably want to be coastal. So you'd be V&A, you'd be Sea Point, or you'd be Camps Bay. I think they're your 3 to pick from.
Yeah, no, fair. And then that evening we went to what has to get a shout out, Codfather.
Did we do Codfather on the Tuesday night, was it? No, we did Codfather later on. I can't remember where we did Tuesday. No, we had Bry's Tuesday, Wednesday, didn't we?
Oh, we may well have done. We may well have done.
Go on.
Well, scratch that. We didn't do Codfather, but you know what? It was that good. It deserves a shout out anyway.
Do you know what?
So
why don't we have a little? We can have a little pause from golf from a second, and we can just clear off a couple of the good spots that we know in Cape Town that we went to. So, Codfather was one. So, Josh and I are both in the same camp, I think, and this definitely when we're thinking about, and if we'd be kind of sending other people on trips here, like there's something about going to a restaurant which just has like a little kind of sprinkle of experience on top of the food, and so. Our two favourite spots, I would say, tell me if I'm wrong, is for seafood, Codfather, and for meat, Butcher Shop and Grill.
100%.
Why are they our best? Well, our favourite. In each case, Codfather has like a seafood counter that you go up to. You actually go up and you actually interact. You see, you pick, you go, yeah, bit of this, bit of that, bit of that. You get someone who's talking you through what's in the counter. I like that. Yeah, better than looking at a menu. Similarly, with Butcher Shop and Grill, where we actually know the head chef through our mate Ryan. He brings us in. He talks us through the cuts of meat. He kind of really, answers questions, explains, gives us some of their homemade biltong, which I know you like, as we do it. And just you really walk through it. You're taken down up into the wine cellar, like you're building into your plate of food. Yeah, in a way that just adds a little something special to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And the food on top of that is sensational. You wouldn't still think it's the best if it was just an experience, but completely agree with you. Certainly our favourites. Would recommend. So Codfather is in Camps Bay, whereas Butcher Shop and Grill is at Sea Point.
Yeah.
So again, not that far away at all. And both really accessible from any sort of areas in Cape Town.
Yeah, so I'd say from the kind of eating, drinking standpoint, like Cape Town isn't that large. No. You kind of get everywhere in top end 30 minutes. Maybe traffic could change things, but really it's kind of 15, 20 minutes wherever you're going. I'll give just one honourable mention to Clew Street House, which is just like a good vibe restaurant, kind of more in central Cape Town. And so, yeah, I think with those three, there's a million. The food is so good out there. But yeah, they're probably the three that we'll give the shout out to.
Yeah, very nice. And whilst we're still talking experiences, jump into the Wednesday, which was a class day at the Ernie Els Wine Estate.
Yes. So, I mean, this is I think my kind of like joker for the boys anyway when it comes to like non-golf stuff. So my mum's in the wine game. She is the UK importer for Ernie Els Wine. And so, UK is a big market for South African wine, and so she is one of their better customers. And so Ernie Els Wine Estate is definitely one I'd recommend for people to go if they're going up Stellenbosch. They want to kind of do the wine farm thing. Especially if you're a golfing tour, because you go there, it is one of the all-time patios, if you will. It's got an all-time patio kind of vista for the restaurant. Incredible views. It's got this little kind of 40-yard chip shot.
I think it was 62.
Was it on the laser?
We can get on might hold it, might have a bottle of wine with Ernie Els on it.
Yeah, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, really nice.
And so yeah, got great view. You got the chipping thing you can do. It's also got a trophy room where it's got the Open Championship. It's got the US Open. It's got a host of other things. It really makes you remember how good Ernie was in the kind of early 2000s.
Got a pro shop.
It's got a pro shop. It's got a wine shop and a pro shop. I mean, it's big combination.
Yeah.
And so look, I mean, if we were giving it a ranking, it would be a high ranking. The food's fantastic. You get a tour of the wine cellar. You can do a tasting on the front of your lunch. And then you can just sit there, kind of chipping away balls, drinking a bottle of whatever you like the taste of the most. Having a good time. Like it's.
Yeah, when we sent my parents there, we were able to couple that up with Desalza, so you can go and play golf and do that. Obviously, we as a big group decided to just go and just have a day.
Yeah,
but that's also worth noting that that's a really great day to be able to play some golf and then go and do the Ernie Els experience.
Yeah, because if you can stomach an early start and just get out to Stellenbosch, one, you beat the traffic, which helps, and it is lovely teeing off in the morning, South Africa in the summer. And so, yeah, I with my friend Al, we went and played Stellenbosch, which wouldn't necessarily recommend that to be the combination. I think Dazalza would be a better one, or even Erin Vale. And then, go have a late lunch at Ernie Els. I think that's a pretty all-time day, to be honest.
Lovely. So that's experiences. Should we jump back into the golf just to close her out?
Yeah, let's close out the trip. So that was Wednesday at Ernie Els. And then Thursday, Friday, we were back into the golf. The Thursday was at Clovelly.
Clovelly indeed. Down near Cape Point. So it's a bit of a drive for us. Fish Hook, yes. Down near Cape Point where the two seas meet. Which is nice. I mean, we didn't see it, but I'm sure it looks nice on Google. It's ranked 60 in Africa, so it's one of the higher ones that we played. But fair to say, in 2020, we had really good experiences, really good vibes of Clovelly.
I came away from, and I fought quite hard to put Clovelly on this year's trip. Yeah. It was a bit of a slot where, we were getting various courses thrown at us, and I was like, no, we're going to Clovelly. And I did that because from what I remembered in 2020 is that it was a really fun, good condition golf course. And I wanted to go play it again. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, I think, we had better experiences in 2020 is clearly what you're getting at here. But yeah, it was put on the trip. A couple of the boys hadn't had a lot of sleep the night before. So there were some tired bodies, tired people, tired minds.
We thought we might be less than 12.
Yeah, we did for a long period of time. But we had a good day, didn't we? We dropped down to, do we have 7 of us at this point? 8 of us? Because we ended up bringing in a random, didn't we?
We were
to join our group.
No, we were 11. So we lost Lowry. So we were 11. We thought we would be less than that. But to Josh's point earlier on about Hume Wood, Clovelly can get really, really windy. These trees, you can see they've been assaulted by the winds their whole life, and they're just growing just at a completely unnatural angle in a lot of places. And we got it on a windy day, we got it on a grey day, and we got it on a not a particularly warm day. Yeah. And that combined with the course just not being in anywhere near as good a conditions. I remembered it from 2020.
Yeah.
I remember those greens being lightning in 2020, whereas they just weren't that pure this year. They weren't that quick. And that all wrapped up. I still think the course has the capacity to be a fun track, but conditions this year, it's a 7, and I'm only giving it a 7 because I know what I thought of it in 2020. If I were just grading it on this year, it'd be in the 6s.
Yeah, so for me, it's a 6.5. And again, that's because of what I saw in 2020. And it's got a good patio. It does have a nice patio, albeit it's undercover, which that might be a plus for many people. It was a negative for me. It's got some really good holes. There's some holes I really enjoy, 18, the par 5 is a good hole with the backdrop of the mountain. You've got the par 5 13th, which comes back from the no man's land, which is a really good hole. I think it's 13. We've always played it where the first is the dog leg left, but I think is that actually the 9th?
Yes,
or the 10th?
Correct.
So it's our 13th, it's our 18th, but it's the other way around. So it has some really good golf holes and some enjoyable holes. But yet it just wasn't in the condition that we expected. And as you say, the weather didn't hold up to what we wanted it to, really.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a huge amount more to say than that. It has capacity to be a fun track. I wouldn't shy away from it necessarily. I know a lot of people who think it's the best course in the kind of greater Cape Town area. It wasn't on the day that we got it. But as I said, had good experience, had a more average experience. Clovelly, it's a 7.
Yeah, okay. Finally.
Friday. Yeah, so I said the kind of Mama Whale is done at this point. So we're kind of playing for this, that and the other on the days. But then finally we got to
Royal Cape, which I think it's really good, and I know a lot of the boys. I know a lot of the boys think is really good. You, for whatever reason, do not.
So Royal Cape. Let's set a bit of scene. So we get reciprocal at Royal Cape, and so the guys who hadn't played it wanted to play it because I think there's a bit of a ambition from all of us. Like we want to play as many of these reciprocal courses as we can. Like I think it's a kind of fun list to try and tick off. It's a host of many South African Opens, so it's it can be up to a pro level. I think it actually was hosting something a couple of weeks after we were there, so the
condition was great.
It is, in my opinion, like a piece of land kind of sandwiched in between motorway. You've got Table Mountain in the background, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like set in a particularly like beautiful bit of land. It's just pretty flat. Kind of fencing around the outside. Like it's a good golf course in the sense that it can be long enough, the greens can be quick enough for it to be tour level.
Yeah.
But like, is it a course that I'd ever be like, you should go and play that? Like, is the pro shop that good? Is the patio that good? Like, the range is fine, the putting green's fine. It's just the boys like raving about it, like, and I'm like, putting it up there with like Fancourt tracks and stuff like this, and I'm just like, what are you boys looking at? Because I've played it. You've all played it enough. Like, you've played it enough to have a valid opinion, but I just don't get why you boys all think that's such a good place.
There's not many weak holes on it. It's, to use your examples of fencing, pretty flat piece of land between motorways. You're also describing George, which people are raving about, right? But George, compared to
but
Royal
George
Cape,
looked like it was. I hadn't played George. It's hard for me to say, but
really.
Like,
it's got about as undulation as Royal Cape, maybe a smidge more. But it's, in terms of views and things like that, it's exactly the same. Royal Cape has proper golf holes. It tests your game on just about every hole. The greens, yes, we got it in great nick, but I could reel off quite a few holes that I actually think are really, really good golf holes.
So what have you given it overall?
I've given it a 7.5.
Yeah, so if we're going on the fact that I should be half ahead of you, like, it's a 7 for me.
It's a 7.5. I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's ranked 94th in Africa, so you're right compared to what some of the others are. The interesting thing about it, again, for the architect buffs out there, Bob Grimsdale.
Who's that?
Durban Country Club, which we were saying is probably wrongly ranked number 1 in Africa.
Interesting.
Did the same. I've probably butchered his name, and I apologise to Bob if he's still alive. I don't know. Interesting that he has designed that as well as Durban Country Club. Yeah. I'm assuming, therefore, you won't like Durban Country Club. But I just think there's a lot of really solid golf holes that test your game. You play well, you can score well. You play badly, and it's going to get you. And I like that in a track.
So I think you'd be a good golfer if you remember
100%.
that. You'd be a good golfer. I'll tell you quite a funny story quickly there. So I played it the week before you boys all did with Grant, who was out there, another guy we know from RMS. And I think it's the par 5 11th.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've railed a drive down this par 5, and I get to my ball like 100% going for it into laser it 201, right? Pull out my 5-iron, and I just hit like just Sunday best right at the pin, and it's at the front of the green, right? 201. And I've got like yards of green to work with. So I'm like, at worst, this is just going to be on the green, but like, I think this has a chance to be really close to this pin.
Nice.
As it comes down, I've got quite good eyesight. Ball just disappears. Don't see anything on the screen, right? And I'm like, I know I don't hit a 5-iron 240, which would have been like over the green, bushes, whatever. And I turn to Grant. I'm like, I think that could have gone in. And I've had a hole in one. And so my last thing that I need in my life is an albatross.
It wouldn't be as good as a 1 on a 4 though, huh?
Still, yeah. Nice. Well done, Josh.
Back to you. Back to you in the studio.
So anyway, all I wanted is 2 on a 5, and I'm done. And to the point where I go to Grant, start filming and I start running, which is pretty embarrassing, isn't it? Really. Well,
At least you accept.
I'm giving it away. Basically, what turned out to be the case is I had lasered the bush at the back, and I actually only had 171 yards in, and so my laser 5-iron, which I absolutely flushed straight over the pin, was straight over the pin, but it was also straight over the pin into the bush.
Ball gone.
Oh no, I found it, but like it was like so buried that like it was a nothing hole. And so yeah, that was my almost albatross at Royal Cape Golf.
Almost albatross. Next time anyone hits it in a bush, that's an almost albatross for your 2.
Yeah, almost albatross. So yeah, we don't agree on Royal Cape. It is fine, and as I said, it's right in the it's 15 minutes from the middle of Cape Town. It's a good test of golf. It's well conditioned golf course. It's nothing to shy away from, but like I wouldn't qualify it as anything more than filler.
Fair enough. Yep. I mean, as you say, it had the Challenge Tour a couple of weeks after us, so
yeah.
Maybe we caught it in a really good, certainly good condition, but I thought it was still good condition when we played it previously.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I know the boys enjoyed it. Good test, but also agree it's not going to be your standout, I really want to play that. And on that, given we've gone through the trips, it'd be interesting to hear some of your highlights of courses you played in that area whilst you were there.
Yeah, so I mean, just to kind of rattle them off to give a kind of sense of where what we've played ranks amongst the other courses. So one that we have played together that we mentioned as a good kind of link up with an Ernie Els wine day is De Zalze. So De Zalze is up in Stellenbosch. So it's about kind of 35-40 minutes away from Cape Town. De Zalze is kind of set in a winery.
Yep.
And so you kind of play with kind of vineyards all around you. And so you can play it and then have a bottle of the kind of De Zalze wine afterwards, which is pretty smart. Really good practice facilities, great driving range, good chipping range, putting green, blah, blah, blah. And I would say fun golf course, like good golf course. Like I like De Zalze a lot. Would really recommend people go and play it.
I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, I think the 9 around the water is particularly strong.
So that's exactly it. I think it's a tale of two halves, and I would actually put the 9 on the water, which I can't think if it's the real front 9 or the back 9, because we've always taken it off different tees. But it's that 9 goes up against anything, and then the other 9 is just average, I'd say. And so, I think it's an 8. Like it's a really good, solid, like up towards the kind of Otaniquas in terms of quality for me.
Nice. Yeah, I enjoyed De Zalze. I thought it was fantastic, as you say. That water 9, brilliant. Yeah, the other stuff.
That water 9. That water 9 is worth it in its own right to get out there. And as I said, the setting's amazing. It's good to get up to Stellenbosch. Like Stellenbosch is lovely. It's like less going on than Cape Town, but like visually is an incredible part of the world. So De Zalze is one. Then the other Stellenbosch courses, Stellenbosch Golf Club that we mentioned, wouldn't bother personally. It's cheap and cheerful compared to the others, but like if you've got the money and that's not kind of on your radar, I wouldn't bother going to Stellenbosch. It's kind of a 6.5. Erenvale, hard to get on.
It's one I'm gasping for.
Yeah, hard to get on. A lot of elevation changes. I carried my bag around it this year and regretted it.
Just recently had the ladies' European Tour event there. LET
Did it really?
Event. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, Erenvale is like, I'd say neck and neck with De Zalze. I played them both twice, and they've kind of flip-flop between which way round I think they are, which I think in reality just means they're both an 8.
Yep, nice.
Then the course I actually joined, which really flies under the radar, is called Metropolitan Golf Club, which is right down by the World Cup Stadium
nice.
in Greenpoint. I've never seen a course like this in my life, right? It is a piece of property big enough for 9 holes. But what they do is they have either huge green complexes or greens next to each other, and then different tee boxes. And so you actually play 18 holes, and it feels like an 18-hole golf course, but on a 9-hole property, which I feel like you'd kind of turn your nose up at. But until you've tried it, trust me, like it's worth a go.
So there's one up in Doncaster called Silby Park that's like that. And unfortunately, it hasn't helped your cause because it's pretty average. But yeah, you've mentioned how good the greens are, and I think a lot of people do.
Best greens in the Western Cape is what everyone says, and I would stand by that. The greens are perfect. No other way to describe it. And the only reason it went down to 9 is because the stadium was built for the World Cup, and they basically lost that land, and so they kind of did what they could with it. But someone who is deeply ingrained in the South African golfing community, I think he sits in the SA Golf Board. He went when I was like, I'm really not sure where I want to play. He was just like, go and try Met, and I did it. Joined that evening. So Met's won, and then just to round off the others, Rondebosch Golf Club. It's actually a fun golf course, but not in a particularly good setting. 6-5. Pearl Valley I've only played once, ranked really highly.
Again, one that I'd really like to go on and see myself.
I think overrated, 7-5. And then the last one, which this is a we must go and play, is Arabella.
Okay.
Arabella is ranked highly, and rightly so. I've given it an 8-5. It is a fantastic, like breathtakingly beautiful golf course. And yeah, you've got to go a bit out of the way. It's in the middle of nowhere, but Arabella is so smart, and I played awful, and I still sit here being like, wow, that was class.
You're a better man than me.
Yeah, had to get over it.
We're going to have to get there. And there's some other mentions, Hermanus is meant to be very good. I know that's a little bit further out and further around, and really, we've got to nail the Cape.
Hey, we've got to go back, got to do it all. So, look, I'm going to ask you a question to close this out. I want you top 3.
Top 3, Pazula.
Yeah.
Pazula and Pazula now. Pazula, the Links, and I'm going to go with Montague.
Nice. So I'm Links, and I think Links is kind of in a league of its own. And then Arabella, again, is, I would say, pretty clear second for me.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I think Montague probably gets it for me. But a lot of good golf. I think I played 11 different golf courses in my time over there this year.
Nice. And
I think I counted up, I'd played 20 rounds of golf by the end of February.
That's always nice. We certainly didn't have 20 rounds of golf here in the UK. So I played 20 holes of golf.
So to be honest, it would have been embarrassing if I hadn't won the Mama Whaler.
But you did.
I did. And so, yeah. So Mama Whaler next goes up for grabs in Turkey in June. And I don't care. To be honest, like, I really, really don't care who wins it from now on. Because my name is on that bloody base. Do you know what? I want you to win it. I actually do, mate.
You're very kind, and so do I. But we'll have to see, won't we? And we'll certainly be covering that, whether that's live, whether that's post. We'll certainly be covering that. And I think that's everything that we wanted to slot in with Cape Town. I think the big takeaway from me is it's a phenomenal country. Mm-hmm. It's a phenomenal area, the Western Cape, to play golf, to eat great food, to drink great drink, whether you want red, white, whatever. And one of the things to just call out, which was highlighted by the guy at Fancourt, all those saying how dangerous South Africa is, I think we need to just round that out and just say, look, you can go to London and find danger.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the wrong things, you're going to find the wrong things. If you're sensible, and which is in any city, any major city in the world, is as dangerous as each other. South Africa knows they need tourists and knows they need to protect that. And so do the people there. And by and large, they are lovely.
Lovely. And you can take a 20-minute Uber for about £3.50.
Yeah, there is that.
And so just Uber everywhere.
Yep.
Get dropped off from, nice villa to nice restaurant to nice bar to whatever. And you just do it. Uber. You're not going to have any problems. Like, no. It's, yes, I think Cape Town might be the murder capital of the world or something stupid, but like it is in areas that you wouldn't go to as a tourist. And so, like, really, I think I don't want too many people to discover how good it is, because I think it would ruin it to a certain extent. But it's from a winter holiday standpoint, if you're traveling from America, UK, Europe, like, it's top notch.
And let's be clear, if you want to discover it, we know it. So why not use some trusted partners?
So tell me, it's your birthday tomorrow. What's the plan?
So, obviously pretty golf mad. So we've got 20 guys, big roll up, going to have a great afternoon. It's obviously bank holiday Sunday, so no one's at work Monday. So we're going to have nice early morning round, about 10. It's not early morning, but 10. Meet for 9:30. 20 of us. We're out on the course. We're going to better ball team, scramble, like roll-up pace thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think it's going to be a nice send on one of the great patios.
One of the great patios.
Well, enjoyed that, Stevie. I hope the listeners, I hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back sooner than normal, I anticipate, now that you're back in the UK.
I'm back.
Back on British soil. So keep listening out for the next podcast that will be coming up very soon. Thank you very much.
Love ya.